He's scared he's going to not be a part of this anymore. I tell her, am I just not a part of this anymore? Well, because I know how you're going to finish, so I'm worried about the other two. I mean, there's some stuff you just, it's like, you know, a snowstorm. It's just some things you just don't predict anymore. Yeah, that's true. Anyways, well, best of luck to Utes. I'm going to go hang out in the booth and broadcast for 12 people. Anyways. Well, I told Lewis if he raced, he'd almost be guaranteed a top 10. Just go out there and run laps. When you see the pagoda in the background, you obviously know we're at one track, and that one track is on the corner of 16th in Georgetown. It is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is where we are tonight, round number 5 of the American Open Wheel Racing Series season. 3 straight nights of open wheel broadcasting here on the Captain Esports Network as we are here live for the 6th running of the Indy 300. It's round 5, of course, of this season as we get you ready for 120 laps of action. I am the captain, Chris Scala, as we welcome you in and get you ready for what is going to be fantastic racing as we crown ourselves another champion of this prestigious event that has now gone on for 6 straight seasons. And when it's all said and done, somebody will get some virtual milk and kiss some virtual bricks. Or as I like to say to people sometimes, they'll go outside and kiss their house or somebody else's house. Not that that's awkward or anything, but you never know. That's the way it goes when you race at Indianapolis. we see the track, 2.5 miles. 78 degrees, 54% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and 2-mile-an-hour winds as we get ready to go racing here in the Circle City. Qualifying just starting. It is 4 laps. It is the best of the 4 laps, and we'll cover that here in just a second. But first, let's take a look at the standings as we enter tonight's race. After 4 rounds, Andrew Marquez still leads by 2 over Stephen Larkamp. Gavin Sanders is third in points. Sam Blackwood, Nate Hayden, your top 5. Luke Daniels, Dan Marrera, Dylan Gonis, Robert Sadler, Joey Ladasor, your top 10 as we enter the 5th round of the season here this evening. A lot of guys not going to be here, or a decent amount of guys not here tonight. A decent amount of guys are here. But either way, we will crown ourselves a champion of this race as we take a look at the schedule also. That is going on right now. Of course, tonight it is Indianapolis. Next week we go to Watkins Glen. And then after a week off for the 24 Hours of Daytona, we'll come back for the Milwaukee Mile February 3rd, Suzuka on the 10th, and then the 17th it is Long Beach. And, of course, you see the star next to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway list. That is because that is a Triple Crown race this evening. So we will crown ourselves a champion of that second Triple Crown race this evening as we look at Jim Herrick out here running laps right now. Stephen Larkamp on the pole with a 39.69 as we speak. Gavin Sanders, Andrew Marquez, Nate Hayden, Luke Daniels, your top 5. As Marquez jumps to the pole. And that 88 car looking pretty sporty so far, as he has throughout the season. So he works his way down to turn 3. Into the north chute of the track and into turn 4. We see all the cars that are out on track right now. Marquez actually coming to pit road. Let's take a look at Gavin Sanders in his 10 car. That just reminded me of one error I need to fix real quick. For some reason it's already checked. Let me fix the paint schemes real quick. Not mine. High card numbers are on. We're good. When I get out there in the track, sometimes I have to turn hide card numbers off. I love excuses to run Indy. My dog ate my homework. I'm running Indy. Oh, man. Get you some race audio. Here we go. Gavin in the 5150 car, the winner from Road America in the last race we ran. As Gavin going to be P3 right now at 39.55 for him. Joey Ladasor right now, P5 as he crosses the line. As these guys run laps, when their times go pro, oh, he almost got the wall there. If your time goes purple, that means you're on a pole lap. If it's green, you're faster in your last lap, like Dan Marrera right now. If it's yellow, then you're not running any faster than your last time by. Ladasor is going to be slower, but let's check on Dan Marrera as he crosses the line right now. P7, 39.6 as he finishes up. So pretty much everybody has got their lap in, except Ladasor, who's on his 4th right now. Oh, no, back end comes around, got a little loose. Can he hold on to her? Up, he's still trying to hold on to her, and he does. Wow. That thing was nearly gone. So it looks like Andrew Marquez will be the pole sitter for the race tonight, a 39:53. So congratulations to him as qualifying will wrap up here in about 3.5 minutes or so. I was looking down here in Discord to see if anybody's in here to talk to, but nobody's in here. So we go from there. But obviously, it gives me an opportunity to talk to the league real quickly. Of course, this is the one series that I think has been the biggest victim, unfortunately, of my work schedule. It's been a crazy last couple of months, and because of that, tonight, unfortunately, is the first race I've actually been able to broadcast live on the track. Usually it's been a tape-delayed race. Matter of fact, the last 2 nights I've spent doing the Gateway race in Road America, and here we are tonight live. So obviously, as I've said millions of times to Isaac and the racers in Discord, I'll say it out loud now. I do apologize for obviously work getting in the way and stuff. I know real life comes first, but I still feel professional enough to say that. So obviously we'll continue to try to improve the work schedule and get done early enough so I can get home and do these broadcasts because they're a lot of fun. I enjoy putting the broadcast on for all the league members out there and for all the leagues I get to broadcast for. But, of course, tonight we're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, and on YouTube as we get ready to go green here momentarily. As we got about 3 minutes or so, make that 2 minutes before we field our grid here as Curran Beckler has just gotten into the room here. Curran going to be making his season debut here tonight, but let's go ahead and take a look at see if we get the lineup up here on the screen. That's not the lineup Scala. And not quite yet. Looks like we'll have to wait till qualifying is over with before the grid is available. But, of course, Indianapolis, 2.5 miles long, 4 corners, all 90 degrees. But they drive very different compared to any other track that would, have 4 symmetrical corners. You would think that 90-degree corners, 4 of them, the track would drive the same in all 4. Nope, not at all. Turn 1 drives way different in turn 2. Turn 3 is way different than turn 4 and all the other corners. And why that is, it's a great question. But one thing I will tell you is when I drive turn 2 at Indianapolis, I do not drive it like any other corner on this track. Turn 3, you can get very tight, especially coming through the corner. Turn 2, you can really get tight. And then turn 1, obviously, can be a very tricky corner in itself with the shade and the grandstands over there. And, of course, turn 4 has its own tricks about it. But either way, that's what makes Indianapolis Motor Speedway so prestigious. And now the cars will grid. As we look at the starting lineup, Andrew Marquez on the pole. Alongside him will be Stephen Larkamp, Gavin Sanders, Nate Hayden. They will take row number 2, Joey Ladasor, and Luke Daniels in row number 3. Row 4, Dan Barrera, Jim Herrick. Row 5, Ryan Eric King and Matt Telder. Row 6 is where you'll see Robert Sadler. And Curran Beckler will be the 12th place starter in this race. That is set up to go 120 laps and 300 miles. As the cars get warmed up, I'm sure Isaac Morris, who is now the guy who runs the league, he is, of course, taking care of the admin duties and stuff now, down in the room. And one thing I will say, I learned something actually today, believe it or not. And that was through league chat from Andrew Marquez, who shared that I've been calling them the AOWRS team. There's an actual title to that team. As I mute my mic here for a quick second. All right. So here we go. Coming off turn 4. History going to be made tonight here in Indianapolis as we crown a champion. And believe it or not, as I look at the standings here of all the drivers in the field, none of these drivers have won this race in this series. So we're going to have a new Indianapolis winner at the end of tonight as the green flag will wave. The 6th running of the Indy 300 is green. They worked their way down to turn 3. Andrew Marquez has gotten ahead of Gavin Sanders. Larkamp, Hayden, Lanasuri, your top 5 as they work their way off turn 4. And across the yard of bricks for the first time. It is Marquez as your leader. Couple cars up the track here a little bit, and here's your first battle. Dan Morera looking underneath Luke Daniels in that 98 car. Of course, our cameras tonight presented by Track Cams 4 Gourmet. You can check them out online, trackcams22.com. Also on Facebook and in the iRacing forums. Marquez already pulled away to about 0.4 of a second. Should see Sanders start to maybe roll the draft, and we'll see if we get a little bit of lead swapping going on, as sometimes we will see at this race. Down the back straightaway. Back here, this continued fight going on with Telder. Ryan Eric King back here, the 13 and the 4. As Ryan gets a good run to his inside. And Telder not giving it up easily. Kern Beckler there behind him. Kern making his first start of the season in this race. of Steven Larkamp right down to third position for him. As these tires get up to temp here, and of course with this being a Triple Crown race, they are not at 100% fuel. That's probably the biggest rule change this season when it comes to these ovals, is they are not at 100%, so you'll not see them running the 30 to 33 laps or so you would normally see here at Indianapolis. Instead, as Larkamp goes up the track, about gets the wall, you're looking at more probably 25 maybe to 23, 25 laps or so on a tank of fuel here. So it's going to really make the strategy interesting in this race. Could see more green flag pit stops. Dan Marrera, the Costa Rica driver. Seventh position for him. As everybody's kind of single filed out and minding their P's and Q's. Of course, Isaac Morris, Austin Starr. You see those guys. Austin's the engineer for the XSR team. And Isaac, obviously, is the head admin and the guy that runs the show here for the American Open Wheel Racing Series. Back here watching Gavin stay about 4/10 back. Now the one thing we do got to watch with the 88 of Marquez, of course, he's burning the most fuel you can burn being out in the front in the clean air. So Gavin could just be riding behind him here in his 10 car, just kind of saving fuel and doing what he needs to do right now. Ride with the winner from Road America a couple weeks ago, or last week I should say. Ready to get into a little bit of a rhythm right now as they go. Nate Hayden, your race 1 winner from Detroit earlier this season. I started to say before I had to cut my mic off there for a quick second. SCOWRS. I found out from Andrew Marquez the actual acronym and what it means here. It stands for Sports Car in Open Wheel Racing Simulations. Otherwise known, as I learned, as Scours. So I appreciate him letting me know on that. Learned a little bit. Nine laps in. You see the separation about a half second back to Gavin Sanders, 2.3 back to Larkamp. Nate Hayden about 3.3 back, and then Joey Ladisor in the 5th position, the French-Canadian driver in his first Indianapolis race here in this series. As one car is coming to pit road, Matt Telder, unscheduled pit stop maybe here? Or is he running a backwards pit strategy? But the green and black number 13 on pit road. Tires and fuel going on. He's going to go a lap down because the leaders are already out of turn 4 here. And something else must be wrong, because that's a lot longer than a pit stop than it should be. Taylor finally leaving the pits. A 34-second stop, so I'm not sure what happened there to the Michigan driver, but fortunately for him, he's going to need some luck here to get back on the lead lap and to have a chance to win this race. Luke Daniels here in the 98, the Texas driver. In his third season now in this league, of course, second with the 5150 team. Got Dan Marrera about a second behind him. Joey Ladasur about 8/10 ahead of him. Very careful, do not want to knock that wall down. Very easy to do with the way that the bars and everything hook up here, from your anti-roll bars to the weight jacker and stuff like that. You want to be able to keep your setup under you as these tires wear out. Jim Herrick. Jim been a very, very busy man himself. Of course, part of LMC Gear, lightweight motorcycle and campinggear.com. Been a member of this league from the start. Of course, been a big supporter. Got a lot of personal adventures he's been working on. And if his wife is watching today, Mrs. Herrick, hope you're doing well. Miss chatting with you guys in chat, but hope you're doing well. I know you've had some issues here in the last year, and just hope everything gets better for you, and everything will get better for you. So keep your head up. It's a good family right there out of Pendleton, Indiana. Curran Beckler again making his season debut tonight. Now Water Graphics number 35. Curran running in the 10th position. Almost using probably the beginning of this race for practice, as he didn't get a chance to really run laps at all. And then Robert Sadler back here in the 11th position, the VOR car. Sadler actually just ran his fastest lap here, so you wonder if he's just maybe getting his feet under him here around this 2.5 mile track. There's your leader right now, 17 laps in. You know, the one thing you want to keep track of, the longer these guys go on a tank of fuel, the less stops they're going to need. So obviously from lap 20 on, that'll eliminate 6 stops and go down to a 5-stop strategy. And of course, with the question being asked, how far can you go on the percentage of fuel in this series now, which I believe is 80%. Teller ahead of the leaders there, trying to stay at least 1 lap down after his unscheduled pit stop. He must have hit the wall or something, if I had to guess. There's Nate Hayden back here, 24 car, running about a second or so off of Stephen Larkamp. So we've had 4 different winners so far in the first 4 races this season. Of course, Hayden won the first one in Detroit. Larkamp scoring at Auto Club Speedway, and of course Gateway went to Marquez. Gavin Sanders getting Road America. So there was your 4 winners so far. And ironically, the front 4 are those 4 drivers. Dan Morera starting to put pressure back here on Luke Daniels. This could be a fight for the 6th spot. Very tough to pass with the dirty air. You get a lot of draft. He might be able to make the run right here. And Luke gave it to him. So move Dan Morera up to the 6th spot as he gets around Luke Daniels. As we look up ahead here, you see Telder now in front of Marquez. I'm sure he's got Marquez saying, dude, get out of the way. Interesting, Gavin moving up about a half a groove here, and he's getting a little bit of a run off the corners doing it. That is one thing that iRacing has created with the build, is you can move up a little bit on the track and actually get runs off the corners. Telder yields the lap to Marquez. This field spreads out here. Going to see pit stops here in the next lap or 2, I would think. Going to start keeping an eye out. You'll see at the bottom of the screen when people come to pit road, the pit road section down at the bottom will show up, and you'll start seeing times on pit road. Coming in yet. Of course, if you get to lap 30, that allows you to have a 4-stop or a 3-stop strategy to get to the finish. So I think that's the ultimate goal here for these guys, is lap 30. You would think somebody here is going to probably try it. As Jim Herrick coming up and putting pressure on Luke Daniels back here for the 7th spot. Jim got a little tight off too. Just here, how much you got to kind of play with the throttle a little bit here. You got to be careful because the car can easily lose the nose, or the back end can go around on it, depending on how the handling is. Of course, that's all part of working with the bars, as they call it. And here we go, our first pit stop, Ryan Eric King, lap number 27. Still too early to be a three-stopper, unless you could find a way to run 31 laps the next three. Tires and fuel for the 4 cars. He'll pull away at 8.8 seconds. I was expecting this car to be the first one on pit road. We still watch his battle. Herrick has gotten back to the back of Luke Daniels again here. As one car off the pace, that's Morera. Did Dan take the access road to pit road? I mean, his car's not damaged or anything here, so interesting as the 26 car comes down pit road. As he gets into stall, Larkamp coming to pit road, right at lap 30. Joey Ladesseur to pit road. As Morera now sits in a stall for some reason. Luke Daniel, Curran Beckler, Robert Sadler to pit road. I'm not showing anything happening to the 26, so I'm not sure here. Here comes the leader right at lap 30, as I mentioned. Oh, and the 88 overshot his stall just a little bit. That might hurt him. Marquez still going to get out in front of Gavin, so now the million-dollar question, where everybody cycles out when it's all said and done, as Hayden leaves pit road, Jim Herrick in. The last one to pit in that 40 car. And just like that, first round of pit stops all over with. And look at this, Gavin Sanders, high sign on Marquez. And there is our first lead change. Gavin Sanders, the Canadian driver, to the front. So let's see if Marquez just kind of hangs out behind Gavin to maybe save a little fuel here. You see Larkamp there about 4 seconds back, and then Hayden about 6.5, almost 7 seconds back. Jump back here is Robert Sadler putting pressure on Luke Daniels for the 9th position here. He's going to take the spot away, so the 98 not on pace for some reason here this evening. Not sure if it's a fuel conservation thing or if it's just not fast or not handling well, or the 98 definitely struggling here. As Dan Marrera's back on pit road. Let's see what has gone wrong with the 26. I talked about him these last couple of races. One of the cleanest drivers you will drive around. Like, he will. You could run him in an IndyCar at Oxford Plains and he'll find a way to have 0 incident points. And he's jumping out of the car. I just saw his helmet leave the car, which means he jumped out. So I'm not sure if Marrera is going to be the first person out or what the deal is. But Dan Marrera going to be the first one out of this race. That is already 35 laps in, 5 laps from 100 miles in this 300-mile race. There's your leader, Gavin Sanders. Second place, Marquez. There's third, Stephen Larkamp, the 62 car. And that is about 4.3 seconds or so back. Nate Hayden in the 4th position. Nate is about 11 seconds back from the leader. He's about 6 seconds off of Larkamp. Joey Ladisor about 2.5 seconds from Nate Hayden, but 13 seconds back from the lead. And then Ryan Eric King, who's the one driver you have to worry about fuel mileage now wise. Pitted from the 7th position, runs 6th right now. 5.9 seconds back from Joey Ladisor and about 19 seconds back from the lead. Jim Herrick back here in the 7th position right now. He's 8.4 seconds from Ryan Eric King, but also about 28 seconds or so from the leaders. And then Curran Beckler, 8th position right now. Curran is about 4 seconds back from Jim Herrick, but 33 back from the lead. And then about a second or so behind him, about 2 seconds now, Robert Sadler. And Robert's the last car in the lead lap in the 9th position right now. I'm sorry, he's second to last. Luke Daniels being the last on the lead lap here in the 10th position. And then Matt Taylor, 11th right now. He is currently 1 lap down, but should be pitting here in the next couple of laps, as he made that unscheduled pit stop early in the race. .96 seconds, the fastest lap so far of the race, ran by Gavin Sanders. Leaders right now running about 41.2s to 41.3s around the track. As of course they got heavier cars than they did in the latter part of the runs, of course, as the tires are fresh. So it's kind of a, if you can keep your tires under you later in the run as your fuel gets lighter, your car gets lighter, and you can run faster laps. Very tough to do though. Pretty good job. Of course, those lights down there, it's kind of, if you've never watched an IndyCar race and kind of see the steering wheel wondering what's what. Of course, you got the lights there. It's kind of a RPM mechanism to help with shifting and stuff when the light turns blue. Usually you're supposed to shift right at that moment, but you can keep it in 5th gear here, not have to worry about revving up. You got up to 1,200 or 12,000 RPMs, I should say, to shift. Now before you hit the chip, as Teller's on pit road, the bottom lights you see where the squares are at. Of course, the far left is the front anti-roll bar. The second one is the rear anti-roll bar. The third one is the push to pass, which you don't have to worry about here on an oval. The fourth one is fuel position, which you'll never get to see unless, or I'm sorry, that's your track position. Miles per gallon, the 5th box, and no, that is fuel position because your 6th box is track position. You would think I'd know that by now, how much I drive these cars. It's nice being out in clean air because you're able to pretty much run wide open for the most part. Get max downforce on your car. Stephen Larkamp goes around the 98 of Luke Daniels to lap him, as Luke has unfortunately lost a lap to the leaders. Of course, this will be our last broadcast of on the Captain Esports Network for the week, other than me streaming myself on track. Broadcast league-wise will be the last one you see until Tuesday of next week. I'm sorry, make that Sunday of this week. Larkamp there in the 3rd position, about 4.5 seconds now in front of Hayden. So the one thing that I learned from watching that first run, and basically that's what I needed to do just to see where everybody kind of ends up fuel-wise and strategy-wise. There's really only one car that's on the lead lap right now that has to worry about making it all the way on fuel, and that is the 4, who runs into 6th position. He pitted at lap 27, which means for him he'll have to go 31 laps the rest of the way on each run to get to the finish of this race. And without draft, it's going to be hard to do. And right now, Ryan Eric King's on his own island. The 44 laps complete out of the 120. Sanders trying to win his 2nd straight race of the season and win his first Indy 300. Of course, past winners, Alex Van de Sant, Caleb Bensey, Isaac Morris winning this race recently. Plenty of different winners in this event. Of course, Bensey's race comes to mind when you think about the 3-wide finish they had across the line and Caleb's car actually blinking out. So I still have it in the photos on my computer of his car. Like, you see the 2 crossing the line, and then there's no Caleb's car, and all of a sudden you see the standings jump up to Kayla at the top. So I think we got a battle for position starting to shape up here as Jim Herrick trying to hold off Curran Beckler, who's, I think, got his feet under him here now. Seeing if he can get around this 40 car for position. You see the leaders right there behind him. For those just joining us tonight, you're watching the American Open Wheel Racing Series, race number 5 here from Indianapolis. The 6th running of the 300-mile race. Of course, TI ran the first 5, and this is the first under the American Open Wheel Racing Series umbrella. Also a Triple Crown event. We'll watch the leaders here as they come up to the back of these two cars. We'll see how easy Gavin's able to get around. He's a 35, about knocked the wall down off 4. Kern just lets him get around on the high side there. Gavin's been able to stretch it out a little bit here on Andrew, about 2.5 seconds now. And then it's, 11 seconds to Stephen Larkamp, who, of course, got the win at Auto Club, which was the first Triple Crown event. He's got Nate Hayden starting to track him down a little bit last time by. Hayden ran a 41.25, Larkamp a 42 flat, so 7/10 faster. Let's see if the 2014 gets to 62 here. You can see Hayden slowly getting closer and closer and closer. Well, I say that, and he just lost a bunch of time there. He was getting closer. That's the difference between clean air and dirty air. I mean, Stephen Larkamp's got nobody at about a half a straightaway before he gets to the car in front of him, so he's got some clean air in front of him. Of course, being only 7/10 behind him, you're not getting so much clean air, and you have to get out of the throttle. Well, it's kind of a give and take type thing because you're giving up all that air, but at the same time, you're drafting with speed, so it's like a catch-22 maybe a little bit. As that advantage starts to extend a little bit out to 90 or to 9/10 of a second. I can't talk now. As here's our leaders going through some more lap traffic, putting Telder a lap down. again. There's Joey Ladisor running in the 5th position right now. Joey's still 18 seconds back right now as he continues to learn driving his Indy cars. As here in the next 5 laps, we'll see the field come back to pit road again for more tires and fuel. And I say that as Ryan Eric King comes to pit road now, so as I said earlier, this pretty much all but tells us he is not making it on fuel. So he's going to be the only one that's going to have to four-stop this race. Tires and fuel, 10 seconds for the 4. And now Luke Daniels coming to pit road. So the 98, that's a lap down right now. Not sure what has happened to that car, but if it's got damage or something, but it has fallen off the map. As Luke overshoots his pit stall, 4 tires and fuel for him. In 9.9 seconds. As Kern trying to hold off Sadler back about 3/4 of a second or so back. The leaders will see the halfway point as Ladisor comes to pit road here at lap 58, going to 59. So this could be interesting here for the 23 car. More tires and fuel, and they pull away. So I'm very intrigued by seeing some of these people come to pit road. Now Curran Beckler is in. And this is right at lap 60. In the background there, it looks like Gavin Sanders is going to come to pit road in a 10 car. Gavin to pit road. Looks like Robert Sadler is going to come to pit road. Also Larkamp. Just past the halfway point. Here come more green flag pit stops for the second time in this race. Gavin pulls away as Andrew Marquez comes to pit road. See him all the way at the top of the screen there. And also his teammate Nate Hayden back there behind him too on pit road. So has Marquez got a penalty? He's sitting there a little too long. And now he leaves. Finally, a 20-second stop for Marquez. What happened to him? That's going to give Gavin a big lead. You see Larkamp's going to come out right here behind the 88 now, and this is going to be a fight for second as we continue green. 63 laps in. Jim Herrick, the last one to come to pit road, and he pulls away. Again, next week will be the Watkins Glen International Raceway for round number 6 of the series. Of course, that track just recently rescanned, so now it's the newer version is here on iRacing for you to check out. So that should be pretty fun, running the boot and the other sections of the track with the new layout on it, which I shouldn't say a new layout, with the new scan on it. So Gavin now with that mistake by Marquez, a 16-second lead almost on Andrew. Again, Larkamp right there behind him. But actually, Andrew's starting to pull it away now as he's about 2 seconds ahead of Larkamp. And then there's Nate Hayden right there behind him. And then Joey Ladisor about 1 second behind him. So this pack sort of up front has come together a little bit here. These guys have done a great job for the most part to keep their car under them. Very hard to do. Again, when you have 3 different mechanisms basically that you're working with on these cars, it can be very tricky. There's one lap your car can do one thing, you make an adjustment, and your car the next lap goes out of control. As Hayden starting to see a little bit of pressure from Ladisor back here for 4th as he comes up on the lap car, Jim Herrick. And just now, Andrew Marquez ran the fastest lap of the race, a 40.96 on lap 67. You think Andrew might be starting to turn it up a little bit, especially now that he lost all that time to Gavin Sanders. There's Gavin through turn 2, down the back straightaway. Of course, this track not only home to the 2.5-mile oval, of course, it has a little over 2-mile road course. Not only that, it has a 18-hole golf course. That's a part of it. 3 of the holes are inside the infield, and the other 15 on the outside. Of course, I remember the one story. I've got many stories about this speedway in the couple years I lived up there, but the one really interesting story, including the golf course, was one day it was the media pit stop challenge, and as part of I was doing radio up there, and went and did the challenge, and we got to drive our cars out on the track. So I drove my car around the speedway once, and then went back out on the back straightaway and turned out of the track like they had us do. And I look up, and there sits Ryan Hunter-Ray, Marco Andretti, and a couple others teeing off at a hole. Needless to say, I was not dumb enough to say anything. So Marquez 14 seconds back, and then Stephen Larkamp, as I mentioned, Nate Hayden has stretched it out on Lattisour now. 2.5 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I understand that, you know, unfortunately only 12 people started the race, and yeah, it's a very low number, but I'm going to put it out like this. Season 2, Indianapolis. They went all but one lap caution-free. And the admin that day forgot to turn green-white checkers off. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have a green-white checker in this race, because knowing Isaac, he turned it off and made sure they were off. But I'm just saying anything can happen in this race. As Ryan Eric King comes up on the back of Joey Lattisour, this is going to be a battle for 5th. Of course, with the way the numbers have been going, we're about, 10 laps or so away from pit stops for Ryan. Ryan going to pounce out to the high side here. Let's see if he can complete the pass into 3. It looks like he will. He does. So Ryan Eric King up to the 5th position. You wonder if Joey's maybe in a little bit of a fuel save mode, because he did pit about a lap before the lap 60 mark. .45 laps to go, a little over 100 miles left. Nate Hayden about 4 seconds back as he comes up on the lap car of Curran Beckler right now. He's got 5 seconds on Ryan Eric King. As we sit with 6 cars left on the lead lap, Joey Lattisour about 10 laps from, or 10 seconds I should say, for going a lap down. Over 100 years of racing at this track. Of course, started back in 1911. Ray Haroon winning that first Indy 500. Of course, there were the two wars that happened where the race didn't happen. So because of that, the years are sort of off when it comes to the 100th running and stuff like that. I remember living up near the Speedway and stuff, and I remember coming to the race in 2011. They were celebrating the 100th anniversary of the track, or I should say 2010 they were celebrating the 100th anniversary of the track. A couple years later, the 100th running of the race. It was very interesting to think of it like that, but I've been there for days when it was 95 degrees and you were chugging water after every beer. Fact. And I've been there for races where it was 70 degrees and beautiful. So Teller pulled his car down pit road. Looks like he's going to be done. Unfortunately for him, looks like an extended stay for him on pit road. So there's your leader, Gavin Sanders, 13.9 second lead over Andrew Marquez. Of course, Andrew has kind of chipped away at it. He's been running pretty similar lap times. Both have the same fastest lap of a 40.96. See, Hayden ran a 40.98. As we'll be coming up to 40 laps to go next time by as we hit the 200-mile mark and about 10 laps away from the last pit stop likely for a majority of these people. And there's Joey Ladisor running 42.50s right now. Of course, he's probably saving a little bit. He pitted just shy of lap 60, which kind of hurt his fuel mileage. As I mentioned, Joey about 2.2 seconds or so back from Ryan Eric King, who's running pretty similar lap times now. So you wonder if the 23 has kind of picked up the pace a little bit here to catch that 4 car. Here comes Ryan Eric to pit road. So lap 82, we're going to see obviously the 4 car coming back to pit road for one more stop here before this race is over. Four tires of fuel, and he pulls away. So your front four drivers, the four that have won races so far this season, one of them after this race will be the first potentially to win race number 2. As of course, unless something big happens and we get some pit strategy or whatnot, but the 5th place car of Joey Ladasor is in jeopardy going a lap down as you see Gavin come up here behind him. As Luke Daniels comes to pit road, lap 85. Luke having a terrible day. Tires and fuel. The 98 will get away here, and a 9.4 second stop there. Good stop for his team. Again, I do appreciate everybody who's joined us so far for the race this evening. The 6th running of the American Open Wheel Racing Series, Indy 300, the Virtual Indinapolis Motor Speedway. If you get an opportunity to, if you're well aware of our partnership with the Celiac Disease Foundation, of course, you can help them out today if you're, again, somebody who is fighting celiac, or somebody that you know in your family has it, or a friend, or just want to help raise awareness because you're a good person. You can check out celiac.org and be a part of it. Actually had a comment from somebody in a previous YouTube broadcast I was able to read this week when I was kind of going through some of the videos I've done, talked about his experience with it. And basically my words to him and my words to everybody is, you know what, don't be afraid to open your mouth, because it's something that a lot of people feel shameful for and feel judged because they're not able to eat the same foods as you and I. Because they have to be careful of what has gluten and what doesn't have gluten. So if you're somebody that wants to learn about this immune battling disease where basically gluten attacks your lower intestines, you can go check out celiac.org and learn about it. And if you want to donate, you can. Otherwise, just go and learn about it, bring awareness, and go from there. But I appreciate those guys for being a partner of ours here on the Captain Esports Network. And, of course, our cameras that you're seeing on track tonight, presented by Track Cams 4 Gourmet. You can check them out online, on Facebook, and on the iRacing forums at trackcams22.com is their website, or just look up Track Cams 4 Gourmet, or if you go into forums, they're usually right there at the top, I believe, in the hosted racing area, if I remember correctly, somewhere over there. But that's how I found them, reached out to them, and here they are letting us broadcast their cameras here, as you see each and every night when we broadcast live, giving you the closest to real-life photos and video and stuff like that of the race. Even some creative shots, too, that you see out there. As here comes Joey to pit road, Ladasor, the 5th place car. Robert Sadler going to come to pit road also. Who else is on pit road here? See Kern Beckler also on pit road too. So last round of pit stops starting up for the guys that likely can make it the rest of the way. Here comes Gavin Sanders to pit road. Up there at the top of the screen. Do not want to make a mistake in this pit stop out of them all. Tires and fuel, and Gavin pulls away. So now the next question here, when does Andrew Marquez come to pit road for the final time here? And that answer's right now. The winner at Gateway on pit road. The very slow creep of 60 miles an hour after going 230 out there on the track. Larkamp to pit road also now. .1 for Marquez. So Nate Hayden now on track. And with 28 laps to go, he's going to check it down to 60 miles an hour and come down pit road. Four tires and fuel, and they hand the lead back to Gavin Sanders now, who, we'll see, it looks like he's going to have over 20 seconds now. On the 88 car. The only cars I'm going to see right now that are going to need to pit one more time are going to be Luke Daniels and, of course, Ryan Eric King. Otherwise, everybody else is set to go to the finish of this race. At least one or two cars might run out coming to the line, but we'll see. Marquez there in second, as you see on the map, as he goes down the front straightaway right now. Gavin Sanders almost in turn 3 right now. And then right behind Marquez, about 6 seconds, is Stephen Larkamp, who's pretty much ran in third all evening. Nate Hayden there behind Stephen. Nate's about 5.5 seconds back now. And as we mentioned, Ryan Eric King, who is well short on fuel. He'll probably be on pit road. I wouldn't be surprised actually if he splits this in half. He comes in about 10 laps. Joey Ladisor, 6th position right now. Joey is the first car lap down. And Robert Sadler there behind him in the 6th car. Larkamp just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 40.81. As Corin Beckler, 8th position for him. There's the Indiana driver, Jim Herrick, who has had some rough luck this season, but doing a good job keeping it one piece tonight, running in the 9th position. And last car on track right now, Luke Daniels, 10th position. Luke, the other car that will likely not make it to the finish. On fuel, will have to pit one more time. one thing I'm hearing from some of the drivers is the setup that's in the car. They've been suffering a lot of aero, it looks like. The way the track is, of course, with the heat and stuff. With the setup, they're saying about a second and a half back. They're seeing some aero push going on and stuff like that. That's where it's been very tough to make moves or passing out there. This car is not easy to drive. For those who have never driven the Indy car on iRacing, it is not easy. It is one to learn. And when I talk about the different bars that you have to work with, from the weight jacker to the NRO bars, as I mentioned, not to mention the aerodynamics on the car. As Robert Sadler comes to pit road here with 20 to go. There's so many little things in a race, especially when you run a track like maybe Gateway or the Milwaukee Mile, or like a short oval like that, or if you get out there to a track like Texas or Atlanta, which you're going to see us Saturday night running an IndyCar broadcast there. No matter where you go, these cars, they get in dirty air. They will plow, or they might even get loose depending on what you got your car set up to do. And it is not easy to maneuver. Just takes one mistake and your car's in the wall, and as you see, this thing don't have fenders, so it will easily destroy the car if you hit a wall or something. So Sadler looks like he's taking his car behind the wall in the 6th. So as we go over the 100 lap mark. And here comes Ryan Eric King with 19 laps to go back to pit road. This will likely be a quick fill of fuel, maybe tires, and he'll get out there and go. And a quick stop, 8.4 seconds. So Ryan should be good to go now the rest of the way on fuel. And Sadler did get back on track, by the way. Sadler 10 laps, or I shouldn't say 10 laps down, in the 10th position. He is 4 laps down now to the field. But Sadler did get back out there on track, so good for him. We're fighting it out. So Marquez right now, unless something drastically happens in the next 16 laps, unfortunately, he's probably going to wonder what happened back at that second pit stop. That is one chance he had to win this race, unfortunately, falling to the wayside. And Steven Larkamp's had a great, solid run. Good bounce back from his issues last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. Gateway came back at Road America last week, had a decent finish, and now looking at a top 3 finish here. But again, anything could happen. Just takes one person spinning out in front of another person, and bam, a caution comes out, and everything gets changed. There's Nate Hayden in the 4th position, so at the 4 cars left on the lead lap here, 6 seconds or so back from Nate here will be the leader. For those just joining us, you're watching the American Open Wheel Racing Series here at Indianapolis. Of course, if you use the first 5 races of the TI IndyCar season and combine this one in there, it's the 6th running of the Indianapolis 300. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Appreciate the racers being here as we quickly close on the finish of this race. Saw a really cool photo today on Twitter. They were doing some kind of drainage work here at the Speedway, and I guess as part of checking out the drainage to make sure everything goes well, and what they have to do is they have to pull up a certain diameter of the track, and basically when they do that, they have to dig in to the track in one little part, and they pull up pretty much everything that is below the surface of the track. So the photo that this person shared on social media, you could see all the different layers of the track since the original paving back in 1911. So you see the brick at the bottom, and then you see another layer above it, and then you see the 3 or 4 different asphalts that have been laid down on the track since 1911. That was a really cool looking photo, because to be able to see the brick from 1911 as part of that photo was really cool. Actually really interesting to see the history of this track. Of course, the 3-foot strip there at the start-finish line is the part of the original bricks. As Luke Daniels makes his final stop. So we have 9 laps to go. Again, next week, Watkins Glen for the series, then they'll take the week off. The Glens will be here next Thursday night at 8:30. Anymore, I don't guarantee anything. And it's funny talking to Isaac before the race. It's the first time we've had a chance really to chat about everything that's going on with my work schedule and his work schedule even. And it's kind of comparable, so to say, except I help deliver packages and be a manager and stuff, and he does the stuff he does. And it's He says, like, man, sometimes I forget what day it is or whatever, and I'm like, I know the feeling. All I know is tomorrow's Friday and already. And Sunday they're expecting like 2 to 6 inches of snow in North Georgia. And I'm like, okay, 2 to 6 inches when I lived up in upstate New York, and for people in Michigan and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's Tuesday. As look at this, Nate Hayden coming to pit road. Oh, and he's got contact with the wall. So Nate Hayden has crashed somewhere. As I said, as we go to the end, anything can happen. See if I can. Oh, it happened right here off turn 4. Back end comes around. And unfortunately, the Detroit winner is going to be out of this race. But here in Northeast Georgia, the people are going to be like, shutting down. I remember 36 inches of snow falling in a 3-day period in upstate New York, and I was delivering packages still. Gavin now with 21 seconds on Marquez. Marquez just crossing the start-finish line right now. As basically for Gavin, it becomes what is a normal qualifying run here at the Brickyard. Through turn 1 and through turn 2 down the back straightaway. There you see part of the golf course on the left. Tracked at 6 on the northwest side of the city. Believe it or not, is a town called Speedway, Indiana, home of the Speedway High School Lugnuts. That is a true story. The Speedway Lugnuts. The high school, actually, I pass it almost every time I go to the Speedway when I was up there. Gavin Sanders started on the outside of the front row. Andrew Marquez led the first part of the race, and after the first pit stop, Gavin made his move and made the pass for the lead and has not looked back. As he will come off turn 4 and see the white flag. Final lap here at Indianapolis, 2.5 miles to go. Oh, and he just hit the wall. Gavin's trying to do a J.R. Hildebrand here. The difference is Hildebrand unfortunately didn't make it to the start-finish line, but Gavin Sanders tries to scare everybody. It's not going to work, though, as the Canadian driver is going to win the Indianapolis 300 with a broken right front. as Marquez will cross the line second. And Larkamp will finish third. And the last car on the lead lap, Ryan Eric King, did work his way back to the fourth position. Joey Ladasor, I believe, is out of gas and finished fifth. I guess that right front's okay, huh? Celebrating with some donuts as we take a look at the finishing order. Sanders wins it by 18 seconds over Andrew Marquez. Stephen Larkamp third. Ryan Eric King and Joey Ladasor finishing fifth. Curran Beckler sixth. Jim Herrick seventh. Luke Daniels, Robert Sadler, and Nate Hayden, your top 10. Matt Taylor 11th. Dan Marrera 12th in the race. Isaac and Austin obviously did not run in the event. So we'll see if the drivers come into chat here and see if they want to talk about their race. You see the city in the background there. And that's the thing about Indianapolis. Anything can happen. And unfortunately tonight, yeah, we had a little bit of a low car count, which is unfortunate because I know Isaac works his butt off to try to keep this league going and stuff like that. But, you know, in the end, you just never know what can happen in a race. Every race is different each time. I'll give it a minute here and see if any of the drivers come over and want to chat. I know they're not used to me being on the air live for them, but I am here. And you know, the last few weeks, unfortunately, the races have not been live on the air for the series because of work and stuff like that. But Andrew Marquez down here waiting on me. So let's talk to Andrew. Finished in the second position. Now Gavin pops in. So here we go. We'll talk to at least the top two drivers from the race. Andrew, congratulations on a second place run. I know the race didn't have quite the excitement or whatever because of the lack of the field, but still you went out there and raced hard and just had that one mistake look like kill your chance.
Yeah, so actually what happened was in the middle, like a little after the first round of stops, something happened with my steering wheel, and I was basically stuck in fifth gear, and I couldn't shift, use the pit limiter or anything, so I was kind of just hanging on for the rest of the race, so hence why I kind of lost the lead, and then coming out of the pits, I just lost so much time, but thankfully I was able to make the best of what I got and recover to a P2 finish.
Yeah, still a great job. I know your teammate had a little bit of bad luck there at the end of the race, but to start on pole and lead the first run of the race, I know with what you did at Gateway, obviously continues to carry the momentum, and you should likely still be the point leader when this thing's over with. I know it's going to be close.
Yeah, I know that Gavin was quite close to me in the standings coming in, so I think it's going to be pretty close between me and him. Basically, the team looks like the top three pretty much finished in the top three, so it looks like it's going to be pretty close between the three of us this season, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight finishing in P2 and fighting through it. and especially through the issues. I can understand the fifth gear. I've explained why you were so slow getting off pit road and stuff. But still, it worked out for you. Shout out to whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, I just want to thank the guys over at AOWRS for coming out tonight. Sucks for what happened to Nate, but I know he'll pick it up when we come to Watkins Glen next week.
Yeah, he definitely showed his talent over there at Detroit earlier this season, so I'm sure he'll be pretty tough to watch. So great job, Andrew. Congratulations on your P2, bud.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir. Andrew Marquez finishing P2 tonight behind the winner, Gavin Sanders, who goes to victory lane here in Indianapolis. Congratulations, sir. You are officially a Indy 300 winner.
Thank you very much. That was it kind of dragged on a little bit, but definitely happy to get it done.
Yeah, I know, like I said to Andrew, I know the car count was down a little bit, which is unfortunate, but still, you know what, you got to run a race no matter what. And you were able to go out there and didn't start on pole, but you were able to just kind of ride there for a little bit and then take the lead there on that first pit stop.
Yeah, no, definitely getting in and off of pit road was super key. It made all the difference, clearly, especially after that first stint. I was kind of struggling in behind Andrew there, and just wanted to make sure that I got a perfect pit all the way up and down pit road, and managed to kind of get alongside and then make the move with the draft into going to turn 3 there on the next lap. And yeah, it all really kind of played out as I would hope, you know?
Mm-hmm. That includes the last lap, right?
Not so much.
What in the world were you doing?
Okay. I may or may not have clipped the curb, and then when it wiggled, I was being cautious and running so much negative weight jacker that I ended up just going straight into the wall.
I'm like the man trying to impersonate J.R. Hildebrand right here in front of us. Nice job.
Yeah, Isaac messaged me right when it happened, and he was like, "Bro."
Oh,
but yeah, I guess my luck also kept going because the wheel didn't come off. So yeah, no, it all definitely went to plan tonight. That's for sure.
Well, great job tonight, man. Go celebrate, and shout out to whoever you like to, bud.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Team 5150, Gary. The whole team has been exceptional this season. Braden Motorsports, Stilo, Alpine Stars, and yeah, let's keep the momentum going.
There you go, man. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations. Go celebrate the win, and we should talk Saturday potentially in Atlanta.
Absolutely. Sounds good. I'll see you then.
Sounds good, buddy. Gavin Sanders, victory lane tonight here in Indianapolis. Congratulations to him and all the drivers tonight that showed up. Appreciate everybody's efforts, and, of course, appreciate Isaac for allowing the Captain Esports Network to be a part of the American Open Wheel Racing Series. Definitely a lot of fun to be a part of here, especially getting 3 straight races in the last 3 days. Definitely very fun to be a part of. So appreciate that and looking forward to the future. But as for always, next Thursday night will be Watkins Glen. Looking forward to that broadcast and that race up there in the mountains of New York, this near Lake Seneca there, about an hour and a half south of Rochester in the Syracuse area. So it should be a lot of fun to be a part of. So with that said, congratulations to Gavin Sanders. Appreciate everybody being a part of the broadcast this evening. And always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!